first one. We'll go to Corrine. Corrine, welcome to the show. You're talking to Dr. Eli Karam.
Yeah, hello, doctor. Thank you for taking my call. It's just a quick question. I wanted your opinion on something. I have my children. I've had 5 children. They're all grown. One of my kids, my daughter, who she's close to 30. I've cut ties with her, and it was really a hard thing to do, but do you think that in some circumstances, I mean, it just said we don't get along, we don't see eye to eye. It's always a situation when she comes around between her and I. I mean, she's basically a very good person, but it's just her and I. It's always been a little bit strained for a long time, but I just felt that, you know, I get so stressed out. She gets stressed out whenever we're together, that it was best that we cut ties.
Yeah, so let me give you some feedback. I really appreciate that call, Corrine. It's tough. You know, you have 5 children, and when people have multiple children, you never want to play favorites. And I can tell even in that message, you probably love your daughter, but you don't see eye to eye. So the question is kind of when is appropriate or not to have cutoff. In cutoff, we mean it can be emotional cutoff, that you still see the person, but you don't really let them know what's going on with your world. You don't share your hopes, fears, joys with them, or it can be complete cutoff where you don't even see them. So whenever you have cutoff, if it can be avoided, you should. And if you know, good or potential times when you would have cutoff, when someone is a kind of a danger to themselves or the family and they're not going to do anything about it. A lot of people have cutoff with drug addicts or alcoholics when people really want to help them but not enable them, but the person, the addict, has refused help. That's an example of a cutoff. So whenever you're doing that with you and your daughter, obviously conditions or boundaries in which you could have a relationship or at least start to have a limited relationship. And that can be negotiated by a marriage and family therapist. A marriage and family therapist work with adult children and their parents all the time. And this could be a mother-daughter work. This could be work with you, at least initially your other children too. What do your other children think about this cutoff?
Well, actually, they're all pretty much don't have very much to do with this one daughter, except for my oldest girl. They're pretty close, the two. And I just want to reiterate that this isn't anything about substances abuse. This is lines that have been drawn in this family day one. And she continuously steps over. I'm not talking about, she's actually a very good person. She's married. She lives a beautiful life. She's a professional girl. It's just, it's the...
Yes, you've drawn a boundary.
In other words, it's something that it'll get started, and then next thing you know, the other kids are involved, and it's just a constant. I feel like we're in like a battleground all the time, not a physical battleground, but like a emotional. And you know, and what bothers me here is the rules are the rules. They've been the rules since every one of them have been born, and yet for some reason she continuously goes against the grain, always going up, swimming upriver, always doing things that, you know.
Yeah, Corrine, I really appreciate that, and some other tips based on your clarification there. So it's important. It sounds like that you have been very clear with what your daughter needs to do if she wants to have a relationship with you, and she has kind of repeatedly crossed those lines. Now, no parent wants their adult child, even if they're 30, kind of parenting them, especially when they haven't asked for it. So I think underneath that, though, and most people, and it sounds like you have too, there is part of you that is sad about this, even though you've had to draw this boundary for now. So I would say a marriage and family therapist is going to be able to, in a case like this, kind of work with you, and then work with your daughter, and then help in that repair technique. or effort if that is what your daughter wants. And the other thing really about that too is that a lot of times family members, and you can put me with my twin brother. Did you know that I had a twin?
I did not know that.
You could put me with my twin brother and my mother, and I would love them very much, but I'd probably regress back to a 10-year-old fairly quickly. It doesn't mean I don't love them. It means there's just some lines when you're put with your family of origin. And a lot of times a marriage and family therapist is going to help you. Okay, so when starting this repair, we're not going to talk about this. These are the things that are off limit. Even if you feel strongly about it, I'm not ready to hear that. Or marriage and family therapists are going to help you say it in a way where you don't lead with this harsh, critical tone or emotion, and you lead with really the understandable part, or what is softer and more primary. So I hope that helps out, and thank you so much for your call. Appreciate it.
Although I'm not a professional, I don't know what to do. You know what direction to take it in. I could tell it's hurting her heart a little bit. There was that side of her. She loves her daughter. So thank you very much for the call. Mark is coming up next. We'll talk to him shortly. But first of all, I want to remind you, KAMFT.org. KAMFT.org. There it is. That is the Kentucky Association of Marriage and Family Therapists. You can check it out. Lots of good information. We're going to have Mark's call coming up. More from Dr. Eli Karam on Wait 3 Listens.